the actual fuck is going on with Wishworld? Like, I can't make sense of it. It's something, I'll tell you that much, and RTD's done a really, really good job at trying to confuse us, maybe? I don't know, but with these images that have been released for, like, the pre-release images they normally release, which I wasn't expecting, by the way, because we had no next time trailer, and it was literally just like, are they going to release anything else? Because trying to keep these episodes a secret is probably in the show's best interest to surprise us. So yeah, I'm just a little bit like, what the fuck? So with another image in this whole bundle that I've got here now, I've got 26 images from this episode, and from another image I managed to work out that this Wishworld clock that's the promo image is actually going to be a clock, and it's actually going to be in the episode, and it's going to look something similar to this. I'll show you in another picture where I kind of got that from, but I kind of added the numbers in here just to have a little look at what that's kind of going to look like in the episode, and it's kind of going to look like this. This is a little interesting. We have a clock that looks as if it actually moves quite fast, so I don't know if the time in this Wish World is actually going to go or move differently to what it normally would. Over here, if you look over here, we've got these new monsters or creatures of some kind. I've got another better image of them further in as well. We'll have a little look at them, but they seem to be controllers of some kind, and I think they're like controllers maybe of the Wish World, trying to keep everything in place, pretty much like the monks did. So it's kind of going to be a similar idea, I think. And then we have this image of Conrad, which looks fine and is all good until you get to the fucking book. Like, what the fuck? It literally says Doctor Who on the book, and then I believe it looks as if it's got an author as well, and I can't quite make it out because it's too blurry, but I'm sure in the episode we'll see it. And the book cover literally looks as if it's ripped off Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or the Goblet of Fire. It could literally be either. So if you look, it could be coincidence as well, but it literally looks like it's ripped off a Harry Potter book with the design of it. And then we have the Doctor here with a planet of some kind, and then Tardis. So they've literally made, at least in this Wish World, they've made Doctor Who a fictional character. What is going on? I think this is going to be some kind of creation from Conrad, because as I said in a previous theory video, I already says that Conrad was going to make a wish of some kind, and that's where Wishworld was going to be born from, and Wishworld essentially is going to be Conrad's creation, probably with additions from the Rani as well, because the dinosaurs and stuff, I can't really see that being Conrad's wish. I don't even think they're dinosaurs. I don't know what they are, but like they look as if they've got like heads of a mammoth and then like legs of a bird. I don't know, I think they're just kind of like some kind of crazy experiment bone animal that the Rani's come up with. It's something that she would do. But yeah, this has just made me like question the whole of Doctor Who. Like, what the actual hell is going on in this finale? Like, I can't wait to see how this plays out, because I don't know anymore. My theories are just, there's so many directions this could go, and I don't know. But I've got a funny feeling with the images that's coming up, I've got a funny feeling Conrad is actually sitting reading this book. It's nuts. It gets worse, by the way, as we go on. Well, not worse, but more crazy. Unbelievable for this episode. She's back. So we have Susan Triad from season 1, the mysterious woman who kept showing up in all places in time and space. She's back as the tea lady from the Devil's Cord. God knows why. How does it link up? You're gonna need to watch to find out. But I have got a little theory on this, and I think it's possibly every person or something like that the Doctors came in contact with through his visits, at least from season 1 till now, is going to show up in this episode. And he met Susan Triad multiple times, or at least saw her, or roughly saw her multiple times throughout his journey in season 1, and I think that's why she's here. She's been dragged into the Wish World as the tea lady, because remember, she was from like 1960, so really she shouldn't be in 2025. She would be a lot older than this in 2025. Probably a little bit of dust and bone, but oh sorry, she already got turned to dust and bone, sorry. But yeah, like, how does this fit in? Because this is season 1 starting to now fall into season 2, and RTD did say that season 1 and season 2 are linked completely, and they were ripped together and whatever else. So it will hopefully link up and make sense, but I want to see what he's going to do with her, or if she's just going to be there for the sake of being there. It's not. It's like Susan Triad. I thought her story was done. Like, I literally thought by the end of Empire of Death she was just like done and her mystery was finished, but clearly not. She's back, and it's going to be an interesting one, I think. Then we have these creatures. So as you can see here, it's as if their fingers are like plugged into this. I'm guessing it's like some kind of control panel, and there's more than one of them. So there's two here. So there's this one here and then this one here. And it looks like they've got like some kind of outer space galactic magnifying glasses on. So I think these are going to be like the seers or the watchers or something like that, that's going to be watching over Wishworld to make sure that everything's running smoothly in the way it should, because if it doesn't, it'll just break down. And as you can see here, here's the clock. So the clock is actually in the episode, which is quite cool, and it has got the numbers on it. So it's essentially, it is just a big clock. Don't know what it's for, don't know how it works, but I'm assuming it's maybe something to do with counting up the time in Wishworld, or how long Wishworld's got left to survive. I don't know, but it will have significance, because they wouldn't just put a big massive clock like that on the wall for no reason. But then again, saying that, it is RTD, so that's possible. But I'm curious to see what these creatures are, because they're quite interesting actually. And then we have the golden jewel, because RTD has says on Instagram that the Ranis count as one part of this unholy trinity, which makes sense. I would say that as well, because this wouldn't be a very good unholy trinity in my opinion. It makes sense for Conrad to be one part and then the Ranis to be one part, because RTD says so. Yeah, technically that is a 3, as the two Ranis are technically the same person. It does fall as one, so that's 2 parts of this third unholy trinity. So we still have another one here to come. Who do you think that could be? Personally, I think it might be the Trickster. I feel like my 2 biggest guesses here would be the Trickster or Omega, but then Michelle Gomez's master is like a real good possibility as well. Just popping in from the future here, and I had a little thought about this as well. Stephen Moffat did mention he had to have a look at the finale scripts for season 2. I can't see how the finale would fit into the Christmas special or Boom, but yeah, Stephen Moffat had to kind of read over it and potentially finalise some things in the finale for season 2. So is it possible that it's Missy? Because he created Missy, and he would kind of have to, like, in Russell's best interest, to make Missy seem the most Missy she could possibly be. Maybe he would possibly have to go over that script and check her lines and make sure everything kind of fits in with that character the way that Stephen Moffat created her. I don't know, it's just a little bit funny. That's what makes me think that it's more likely to be Missy than it is the other two, but then the gods don't fit in, so I just don't know how everything pieces together. That would just be wicked though, because I do love Missy, but I don't know how Missy would work in this trio. I don't get it, because technically this trio is working against the Doctor, and the last time we saw Missy, she wanted to be like complete best friends with the Doctor. But then that kind of links up with the trailer promo that we got in Unleashed as well. The fact that Conrad was telling the story about the Time Lady who wanted to be the friend of the Doctor and blah blah blah, whatever he was saying. That's potentially could be who he's reading the book to. It could be sitting whilst the screens are playing and he is reading Doctor Who to the masses. I mean, that would be quite interesting. But I can't really, I don't know. I would say Michelle Gomez's master is like maybe the third down in the list that I would think would appear. It's got to be a god, because the gods have to tie into this somehow, or it's going to feel like the whole point in the god era was just for nothing really. I feel like the third one is going to be a god, and I feel like the only 2 gods that would really be properly suitable for that would be, I mean, I suppose it could technically be the Toymaker, because with them taking over the world in Wishworld, they technically would have took over a unit, which means they would have had control of Unit's Black Archives, which means they could have got the Toymaker out of his box as well. So that's very possible. I feel like the 2 gods that fit the best here would probably be Omega or the Trickster. And I'm hoping it's the Trickster, because I feel like the Trickster really needs to be in main Doctor Who. It needs to happen. Let me know down in the comments who you think the third person is. And then we have another picture of the Golden Trio. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving this set design. Like, it is absolutely marvelous. Like, the set design is stunning. It is done so well, just like everything else in this era, though everything else in this era is just the same. The set designs are quite out there and good. I'm loving the fact that Mrs. Flood is kind of sticking with this whole governor look, kind of builds on the character that we had seen. So I'm assuming she's got 3 different prisoners, or these 3 keys could technically represent the unholy trinity, but she's either got 3 different prisoners for something. But she does seem to be a police officer as well, because there's a photo that comes up just a little later that she's a police officer in that one. And then we have Captain Handsome. So he seems to be working for Conrad. Now, last time we seen him, he was working for UNIT. So this is what I mean. It looks as if the unholy trinity has actually overtook UNIT and control everything, and Conrad actually works for UNIT. But everything's like 1950s style. It's like all old-fashioned stuff. It's crazy. But Conrad seems to be the main face of this unholy trinity. He seems to be the one that's controlling everything. This is what makes me think that this is Conrad's wish world, with additions from the Rani and whoever else made the actual wish world. We don't know who actually made the world yet. But yeah, Captain, or is it Colonel Ibrahim? I think that's it. He looks just as handsome in a suit as he does a uniform. And then we have this is revelation stuff. Like, this makes me even more confused about what's going on in this episode. The Rani has a baby. I think this is where Space Babies is going to tie into it. I don't know how. I don't know how that works. I've seen a lot of people speculate that this is actually Ruby, and the Rani is technically going to turn out to be Ruby's mother, which means it would retcon her original ending. But that doesn't make sense. First half of this series, we saw Ruby with Carla and her actual mother. So I suppose that could be red herrings, deterring you from thinking that this could be Ruby. But I don't think it is Ruby. I think this baby's something else. I think this is a creation of the Rani. If they do go down the route that I think they potentially might actually go down, I think this potentially could be the Doctor, and then they would make the Rani the Doctor's mother, which is just so confusing because Tecteun was meant to be the Doctor's mother. So, like, I don't know where this could go. This baby literally could be Ruby, it could be anybody. I suppose they can write it in so that it works, but I don't know how that would work where paradoxes are concerned, especially in a fragile world like a wish world where there's 2 Rubies in the same time stream, or there's 2 Belindas in the same time stream. But then again, saying that, Time Lady, Time Lord, I'm assuming the Tardis has got to come into this at some point. Is the Tardis what's holding this wish world together? We've seen it blow up in the last episode, or at least the doors blew in. So is it the Tardis that's holding all of this together? Is that why Mrs. Flood / the Rani needed the Doctor to get back to May 24th, so that the Tardis could implode and they could use it to hold wish world together? Who knows? Who knows? But I feel like this revelation's going to blow a whole new meaning into Doctor Who. And then we have Conrad with the same baby. So this is what makes me think it's not Ruby, because I don't know why Conrad would want a baby Ruby. Last time we seen him, he couldn't stand Ruby. So is it potentially so that he can give her a different upbringing, so she's never met the Doctor? If that happens, that causes so many different paradoxes. It would just cause so much time anomalies and problems. So I don't know. This is what makes me think it's not Ruby. I don't think it will be Ruby. The baby is going to be significant. It's probably going to be a space baby, but it's not going to be Ruby. Do note here that it is wrapped in a Gallifreyan coloured cloth, so like the colours that the Gallifreyans would normally wear on the robes. It is wrapped in a similar cloth, so it could potentially be a baby Time Lord. It could be the Rani and Conrad's baby. I don't like the idea of that, but it could be. And then we have 2 separate stills. So we have the Doctor in his wish world form and Belinda in her wish world form. This image is making me think that the Doctor knows exactly what's going on, but is playing along with this, because there's another image further on where he actually has shown Belinda something to do with these mugs. I don't know if the colour yellow is significant to anything, because it's all yellow mugs, like everything is yellow. Even in the next picture there's a plate that's yellow, so I don't know if it's just set design or if it's actually significant. But then we have Belinda here living her normal day-to-day life. She's got a cardigan and stuff on. She's looking rather 50s-esque. She's blending in there. I'm loving it. And then we have Mrs. Flood. So she is now working for the police. So I don't know if this is like her job in this world and this is what keeps her busy, or if this is an undercover position for her to potentially deal with people that aren't abiding by the rules of Wish World. Because I'm assuming that people are going to like die in this Wish World because they're not following the rules. I've got a funny feeling it's not going to be an easy living for people. Then we have Ruby. I don't know who this character is. I'm assuming it's a new character. And we have Shirley Ann Bingham, played by the lovely Ruth Medley. But I don't know who this character is. But these are the outcasts. So these are the ones that Conrad has decided in this Wish World have to be poor and be homeless, I'm assuming, because there is a clip where we see Ruby, I think it's Ruby and Shirley, begging for money in the street. Yeah, this is why Ruby and why they all look as if they're like kind of having a bit of a hard time. So I'm assuming these are like the outcasts that Conrad class as benefit scroungers, and they don't get a decent living like the Doctor and Belinda managed to get, which I don't understand. But and then we have more of them, so this must be like their underground safe haven where they kind of sit and they hang out, trying to keep away from potentially prying eyes, because pretty much similar to what Jack, Martha and the Doctor had to do from the Master, which is quite similar. So yeah, again, set design looks absolutely fantastic. And then we have the Doctor studying the mugs. I love this image. It's such a beautiful image, like it's so well took. I love it. I do want to note here that the Doctor's wearing a pinstripe suit that's pretty similar to David Tennant's 10th Doctor suit. It's obviously a lot more modern, a lot more tailored as well, thanks to the budget. But it is pretty similar to what the 10th Doctor would have wore. Obviously this is the Doctor's work uniform, I believe. I think this is what he has to wear every day to work. Yeah, so here we go. That's him off to work. So he is here with Mel, Bonita Langford, and she has a slip. So this is a dustpan and brush that she used for the slip bins, I believe. And they are looking up at something in the sky. So I'm assuming what they're looking up at is these big bony dinosaurs in the sky. It's the only thing that kind of makes sense. But the Doctor seems to either be playing along here or is completely underneath this Wish World, and he's not aware of what's going on. This is just life for him now. And then we have the Ranis again. This is a lovely image, very, very good image. I'm really, really hoping that this new Rani doesn't overtake Mrs. Flood, because it's been such a long burner for Mrs. Flood, and it'd been nice to see her actually have some action, rather than just being like, ooh, I'm a mysterious woman, and guess who I am, right, okay Conrad, that's where you can go. Like, it would be nice to see Mrs. Flood hopefully really come into her own in these next 2 episodes, if she lasts the 2 episodes. But yeah, it would be really nice. I think I've seen a lot of people say that Mrs. Flood is going to kind of turn the tables, and she's going to turn on the Rani and help the Doctor escape Wish World, and hence the reality war. But I don't know if she will turn good, but it's possible, because this Rani is entirely dominant over Mrs. Flood, and she might not like that, and that'll make her turn the tables. Then we have the Rani in this hut. So this is the same hut that she goes into with the baby. So I've got a funny feeling that she goes into this hut and actually takes the baby, and then she takes the baby from here to her lair, and that's where Conrad ends up with the baby. So because if you see, she's either gave them the baby, or she's took the baby, because she's not got the baby anymore. So I don't know what's going on there. And with the dead squirrels and stuff, don't get it. But I feel like these are going to be some pretty good scenes, because they're interesting. Quite dark for Doctor Who, to be honest. And then we have Belinda with Captain Poppy. So this is, I'm guessing in this Wish World, Captain Poppy is their child, because they live together. And I don't know if it's been put in the Wish World that the Doctor and Belinda are a couple. I'm going to be quite interested to see what the Doctor's name is in this episode, because I don't think it's going to be the Doctor. I think he's going to be given a new name as well. But yeah, we have Captain Poppy, so that's our Space Babies tie-in. Don't know how that works, don't know why or how Captain Poppy could even be in this episode, but as I say, it's as if the Doctor, people that the Doctor's bumped into in his travels, is popping up in this episode. So we have Susan Triad, we have Captain Poppy now, we have Conrad, because the Doctor had quite a special connection back in Space Babies with Captain Poppy, and he had a really nice conversation with her. I know that sounds crazy to say that it was sitting talking to a baby, but it did. He had a nice conversation with her and told her the story about Time Lords and stuff like that. So I feel like she's going to pop in here somewhere. She's going to fit in here somewhere nicely, I think. And I so hope that it ties Space Babies up and makes Space Babies a much better episode than it actually was. Because we have the Doctor with Captain Poppy again. The Doctor does look like I think it's maybe jam. I think he's maybe dipped into the yellow bowl and put jam or something on his nose whilst he's telling Captain Poppy another story. As you can see here, look, it's yellow cups, yellow bowls. I don't know if it's significant, but they seem to be everywhere. And then we have the Doctor going to work. I absolutely love this shot as well. It just looks fantastic. There is another one of them when he's looking up at the sky, and I really like that shot as well in the trailer. It's a nice shot. Then we have Ruby again, and she seems to be smiling and crying. So if you look at her eyes look quite red. So I don't know if maybe she's found the Doctor, because it looks like she's potentially in the same area as where the Doctor and Mel are staying. So it looks like she's potentially maybe found the Doctor, and that's gave her hope, because I've got a funny feeling that Ruby's going to be the one that knows everything's not right, and she's going to need to bring it to the Doctor's attention. I have a funny feeling. Could be the other way about. It could be the Doctor that notices and he has to wake up everyone else, but I've got a funny feeling it's going to be Ruby and Shirley-Ann Bingham that's going to know everything. And then we have the Doctor at work, and I'm assuming with the typewriters and stuff, I'm going to assume that the Doctor works for Conrad again. I think everybody in this world works for Conrad, but it looks as if he's kind of doing a similar job to what Colonel Ibrahim was doing. So yeah, it looks like he's enjoying the job, fair enough. It looks as if he's having a great time, but yeah, I think this is maybe like Conrad's office, maybe, I don't know. And then we have the slip bins. So we did see images of these way back when it was filming back, God, 2 years ago. So these are the slip bins. So I don't actually know what goes inside these bins, but slip doesn't sound too good. I'm going to say it potentially could be humans that are disobeying the rules of this world. Is it possible? It's RTD, we never know, but I feel like it potentially, it's not going to be general waste anyway, I know that much. But Mel looks as if she's having a fantastic time there. She's just like, yeah, woohoo, let's go, brush up those humans. I could be completely wrong, it could be for something totally different, but knowing RTD it won't be. Then we have Mrs. Flood, who looks to be delivering food to one of her prisoners, because she's got her keys in her hand, she's delivering them bread with a big smile. So who is the person she's holding prisoner? Because we've seen Belinda's in Wishworld, the Doctor's in Wishworld, and we've also seen that Ruby's in Wishworld as well. Who knows? And there's not even, like, I've actually had a look, there's not even reflections or anything in the window. It's a little bit rubbish. But yeah, there's a bed, and it looks as if it's some kind of containment cell of some kind. Mrs. Flood is acting as the governor within this wish world. And don't get me wrong, she looks like the happiest governor ever. So we have another shot here, and this is just after the Doctor was looking at those yellow mugs. As you can see down the corner, there's a yellow mug. So this is the shot where the Doctor was actually leaning looking at the mugs. So this is something, and those mugs have showed the Doctor that there's something not right, and he's told Belinda about it. So this is what makes me think Belinda and the Doctor are a couple in this universe, and Captain Poppy's their baby. But yeah, Belinda seems to be a little bit concerned, and the Doctor as well, so that's maybe like, okay, the Doctor's woke up and knows there's something wrong. We also have this weird shot of them in unit as well, but there's no one there that we know apart from these two characters, so the Doctor and Susan Triad. Oh wait, is that Colonel Ibrahim? I think that's Ibrahim there. Oh, that could be Kate Stewart, actually. Okay, so it looks like the unit team, potentially, in unit, looking out at something in the sky. They all look as if they're in some kind of amazement as well. It's weird, but I can't tell whether this is like where they actually work, or if this is them waking up. I don't know, it's so hard to say for this episode, it really is. And that's the last image. So yeah, throughout those images, we get a really good idea of where Wishworld's actually going to be going. It's going to be an episode that's completely different from anything that I think we've ever seen for Doctor Who, and it's going to really set the Rani up to be a really good antagonist, because let's be honest, she's only ever had 2 appearances in Doctor Who, and one of them wasn't the best, or 3 if you include the special, but I don't include crossovers with EastEnders. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, there's so much, just like so much stuff going on in this episode. It's just like, how do you even fit all of this into one episode? That's one thing that I'm really concerned about, because there's so many characters. So we've got like Mrs. Flood, we've got Mel, we've got the Doctor, Ruby, Captain Poppy. I'm assuming is going to be able to speak, because she could speak when she was a baby, so why not when she's a Captain Space toddler? The Rani's dialogue, and then you've got Conrad's dialogue, you've got these people's dialogue, Ruby's dialogue. Like, there's just so much going on in this episode, and I really hope that it's done well, because if it starts feeling like people's time's getting cut short because I've only got 45 minutes to get through this, the episode's going to feel like useless, pointless. It's not going to even feel worth it. So I'm really hoping that they nail that down and they get it done like properly. As always, let me know what your guys' theories are in the comment box below. The conversation always starts first down there. So yeah, are you excited to see Wishworld? I want to know. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit like, and I'll see you on the next one.